All I'm looking for is an honest e-bike review. That's not too much to ask for, is it? This morning I'm going to take a ride on the newest iteration of the ENGWE L20 2.0. Let's see how it really performs, and then we're going to go back into the garage and check out some of the key features. Okay, here we go. This bike's got a lot of power. I'm in level 3, and as long as I pedal, and I don't even have to put pressure on the pedals, I maintain 15 miles an hour. And the throttle only will take me up to 20 miles an hour. Now I put it in power level 5, and I just rotate the pedals in power level 5. Takes me up to 28 miles an hour. That's pretty awesome. It's pretty fast too. I think power level 4 and pedaling takes me to 20 miles an hour, almost 21 miles an hour. And you know, that's fast enough for me. It isn't a race, is it? And the beauty of it is all you have to pedal, but not with a lot of pressure, and you move right along at 20 miles an hour, which is pretty cool. So after riding this bike for 14 miles, I've gotten pretty used to the controls, and I have to say it's an awfully nice bike, especially for the price. What seems to be most efficient and comfortable for me is to have it in power level 3, and it cruises right along at 15 miles an hour. So I'm putting a little pressure on the pedals, and as I approach that little hill I just went up, it maintains 15 miles an hour. Let's go up to Goodwin Dam and take a closer look at this bike. Well, I've ridden this bike about 20 miles this morning, and I've almost used half the battery, so we'll see how it looks when I get home. What I wanted to do was go over some of the features of this bike that I really like. So first of all, this is the ENGWE L 2.0. They say it's black, but it's actually a very dark blue. One of the nice features I found is it came with a front rack. You had to mount it with 4 bolts right there. And also for the wires that are necessary for the brakes and the controllers and the gear shifter, there's a little hook right here to keep them contained so that they don't fall out. It comes complete with fenders, both front and rear. There's also a headlight. It comes out a bit, so if you're carrying a load on the rack, it's not going to interfere with the light. And you know, most of these folding e-bikes come with 4-inch wide tires, which I really think is a little overkill, and it just adds rotational mass and weight to the bike. This bike has 3-inch tires that you can pump up to 45 psi. It also comes with 180 millimeter rotors on the mechanical disc brakes. Let me say a little bit about mechanical disc brakes. They work just fine. ENGWE is keeping it simple on this bike. Oh yes, and they stop just as well as my gravel bike and my hardtail mountain bike that have hydraulic brakes. So for me, it's not an issue. Now let's take a look at the cockpit. So the on-off switch for the display is right here. It lit up and it's rather bright. So I'm interrupting the video because trying to demo the control panel of this bike outside today looks pretty bad. So we're going to take a look at it inside. By the way, when I'm on the bike looking straight at the panel, it's as bright as can be. In fact, it's brighter than any I've ever seen, even much brighter than my Garmin that I have on my Priority 600X. So I believe I already mentioned that the on-off switch is right below the plus and minus button. Now the lower button on the display is where you turn your lights on, both the headlight and the tail light. Now if we go back to this button, you see there's a minus and a plus. So as you can see, there's a yellow 0 there, which means that there's no power going to the wheels. And I recommend that you keep it there until you're ready to ride. Power setting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all correspond to how fast the bike's going to go and how much torque you're going to get out of it. That keeping it at power setting 3 maintains the speed of the bike at 15 miles an hour and really seems to be the best for conserving your battery. So power setting 4 will take you up to 20 miles an hour as long as you are lightly pedaling. You don't have to have a really high cadence. As long as the cranks are turning, you'll stay at 20 miles an hour. Power level 5, the same thing, only here you'll get up to 28 miles an hour. It comes with a bell. Now that bell isn't very loud. If you have a loud bell, it can be as scary as coming up on somebody and not announcing yourself. So what about the hand grips and the shift levers? As far as the shift lever goes, it's a Shimano 7-speed. The hand grips are ergonomic, they're very comfortable. And over here is the throttle, and I'm going to talk more about that later. And the handbrake levers are very easy to operate and they're within reach. Well, what about the battery? Well, the battery on this beast has a 52-volt operating system, and it's very easy to take off the bike. There's a lever under the seat. You pull it up, push the seat forward. So you push the key in and turn it to the left. And the battery comes out just like that. When you're going to fold the bike up, it makes it a lot lighter too. So when reinstalling the battery, all you do is line the back up with these 2 grooves and it slides right in. Turn the key and it's locked in place. So how is the seat on this bike? Well, it's comfortable on an inexpensive e-bike. If you're going to ride 20, 30 miles, I think you'll be okay. If you're going to go 50, 60 miles day after day, I think I would put a little more comfortable seat. And as we know, seats are very much personal preference. So the bike has an integrated tail light that runs off of the battery. You don't have to replace batteries or anything like that just to make the tail light work. And it also comes with a stoplight. When you grip the hand grips, the stoplight actually comes on, and you'll see that in a little bit. Obviously, I have to be riding to show you the stoplight. One thing I almost forgot to mention is the shock absorbers on the front. On the ride up here, I could tell that it was making a little difference. And you can lock them out also if you want a stiffer ride. Let's not forget it also has a front headlight. By the way, one thing I noticed when you have the headlight on, the display dims a little bit because it thinks you're either riding before dawn or at night. And that's a good feature. Don't know if you saw the brake light or not, but I'll know when I get back and take a look at this footage. So one of the features I really like about this bike is that from a standing start and you want to get moving forward, you just twist the throttle a little bit and the bike starts to take off slowly. It takes some getting used to, but it's much like when you first started driving a car and you hit the gas pedal and you said, whoa, I took off too fast or I took off too slow. So once you get used to it, and it took me about 3 minutes to get used to it, it's a really nice feature. And it allows you to get moving before you start pedaling. I'm going to give you a little demo of that right now. So from a stop position, right here is the throttle, and you'll notice if you turn it, nothing happens until you turn it just a little bit more, and watch this. See, I'm starting to move. I'm not turning it aggressively. I'm up, sitting on the seat, and now I'm pedaling. So that's an excellent way to get this bike moving. Again, I'm in power level 3, which tops out at 15 miles an hour. So as you can see, I've gone 19 miles and I've got 3 out of the 5 bars left on the battery indicator. So that's pretty good considering I've gone in throttle mode only most of the way. Yes, I'm pedaling now, but it looks like the battery life is pretty good on this bike. I'm at power level 4 again, 20 miles an hour on a flat, slightly uphill. Let's do power level 5. $27.5 miles an hour. It's quick enough. Back on power level 3. 15 miles an hour. So here's the ultimate test. I have a hill coming up. It's between 8 and 12% grade. I'm going to keep it in power level 3 and see if I can maintain 15 miles an hour or even down to 12. I would be amazed if that happens. So let's give it a shot. Let's get moving. Hit the throttle just a little to get moving. Put my left foot on the pedal. And here we go, up the hill. So we're at 14.8 miles an hour. Power level 3. 14.6. Up to 15 miles an hour. Very impressive. I made it to the top of the hill, 15 miles an hour. Now I've slowed down because I need to take a left here. Another hill. This baby's got some torque. So I made it back home with 1 bar to spare on the battery with exactly 25 miles. Well, I made it back home, and I must say this bike performed fantastic. I was in throttle mode most of the way. You could tell when you let up on the pedals a little bit going up a hill that you were in throttle mode. If you pedaled hard, then you were in pedal assist. So that's the difference. And I had 1 bar of power on the battery when I got back, and that was with 25 miles of travel. I would say if you were on a flat road and you were using pedal assist, you could get quite a few more miles out of this battery. I wanted to go over a couple of issues that were raised by other YouTubers as far as possibly being negative about this bike. One is the key. You know, when you're riding this bike, once you turn it on, the key stays in. And there's always a concern if you fall down, the key might bend, it might even break off. So here's the key, and you can see it does stick out quite a bit. Now, if you look at it from the side, your pedal is out there. Your seat extends farther than the key. So you probably won't have that issue that folks are talking about, but it is a concern. And it's not just this manufacturer, but all e-bike manufacturers of this variety bike have the same operating feature. So it might be something for them to think about to change in the future. Now, I've also seen some other videos where folks were complaining about rider height for this bike. You know, if you're 5'6" or under, can you really ride this bike? Well, you can. The examples being shown are someone straddling the bike, sitting on the seat, and trying to touch their feet to the ground. Well, any bicycle shop or bicycle fitter will tell you that's not the way to get on a bike. You get forward moving on the bike with your foot on one of the pedals in the down position, and then you ease yourself up into the seat. And it's very easy on this bike with that throttle. It'll give you the forward motion all by itself. The important part about bicycle fit is that when you're riding and you sit on the seat, your legs are extended with just a slight bend when the pedal is in the down position. I have a 30-inch inseam on my pant leg, and I had to raise this seat up quite a bit, so no one should have a problem with this. So being a long-distance cyclist, one of the things that I always look at when I try out these e-bikes is the rear rack. Could you actually put a standard pannier on the rear rack? With this ENGWE L20 e-bike, yes, you can put a standard pannier on the back. As you can see, the brackets fit on there snugly and they are locked in place. So when it gets time to charge the battery, and it is about time, I already showed you how to take the battery out, and you can charge it remotely on a bench or whatever, but you can also charge the battery while it's installed in the bike. On the top of the battery, there's a port right here, and all you do is move it to the side, and you can plug your charger right in there. Also, folding these pedals are the easiest I've seen on any of the e-bikes that I've tried out. Usually on these foldable e-bikes, you have to push it in and then fold it down, but not on this bike. You just go like that with your finger, fold it, and you're good to go. There is one thing missing on this bike, and not just this one, but most all e-bikes that I've seen, and that is a wrench. If you have a flat tire on this bike, there's no way to get that back wheel off with the very nice little toolkit that they give you. The toolkit is great for assembling the bike and doing minor adjustments on it, but there's nothing to take the back wheel off. So I suggest you invest in an 11/16" open-end wrench. And that way, if you have a flat tire, you'll be all set. And by the way, you also need to take a standard tire repair kit with you. So how about folding this e-bike to put it in your car or store it in your house? How easy is it? How heavy is it? Well, I recommend that you take the battery out first and then you fold it. And let's go through that process right now. So folding this bike up is actually very easy. Let's do it right now. First, you fold in the pedals. I've already folded the back one, and I personally like to take the battery out. So you turn the key and you push it in. Put the battery aside. Fold down the handlebars. Next thing I do is unlatch the frame. And then with my knee, I fold it a little bit. There's a stand underneath the bike that allows you to have support. And just like that, it's all done. It's ready to throw in your car or put in your apartment or whatever. And it is quite a bit lighter than with the battery. And once it's folded, it really has a very small footprint. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video. It's not the kind of videos I usually make about bike packing or riding fast on a gravel bike, but it's something I wanted to do. So thanks again, and as always, happy pedaling.